Why hello there, fellow explorers, Rodamon here. Thank you for tuning in to Vintage Story Primitive Survival. Episode 8, Surveying for Viability. Alright, let's decide where to potentially live. So, opening up this map here, I had mentioned wanting to live near the coast and also lakes. Being near trees would also help, of course, so that there are local forests and bushes and the like. And what I think I'm going to do is create a few options and then visibly scout them out myself, because I don't want to pick things sight unseen. So spot 1, he's red, and I will have another option, which is like a spot further far flung. If you don't like the initial area. So what I'm doing is I'm just marking down some initial area. Now this spot, of course, does not have a lot of trees around it. But, we can scope it out. And ultimately, what I'll do is I'll have you guys vote on it. So that's red, orange, yellow. Let's check those 3 first. Alright, before I depart, grab our soups. Can you make a leg around? I wouldn't need to. Game setting doesn't require it. And these are good for 14 hours? Okay. Let's go scope out these spots. And I'll leave these... Actually, it might be worth waiting for the pro pick. Because there's one other factor, which is water aquifers. So, in order to get fresh water, you can, of course, boil it, like I've been doing. But that gets tiring pretty fast. Rainwater is, like, decent, but it also isn't great long term. So probably the meta is to dig a well. And, once we have a pro pick, we'll be able to check whether things have good well water or not. So, I'll wait just a second for that to solidify, and then we can run around and pro-pick the spots that I'd marked down to also consider groundwater availability as a, there we go, as a factor. Okay, I'm going to head to the red marker first. It is, what time is it? Why am I... Okay. Yeah, we have plenty of daylight left. Actually, I'll go to yellow first. But Bronze Age's reached. So the current priority right now is to scout out base locations. Because the location I'm at was always intended to be temporary and not permanent. While we're out here, wouldn't be terrible to look for resources too. I wouldn't mind trying to find bamboo. I wouldn't mind, you know, like marking down any vegetables that are going to be particularly useful. So some crops like turnips are rather pointless in this biome because turnips are cold-loving crops, so I'm never going to really be able to farm them. Like getting cassava or amaranth grain or, you know, just whatever we're going to want to farm as well. I have a pretty open backpack. Is the spot farthest to the west still in consideration? So what I'll do, once I've marked all these down, is I'll allow you guys to vote 1, 2, 3, or something I haven't searched yet. So if the first 3 spots don't look good, there will be an option for keep looking. But I would say groundwater and proximity to salt water are probably the ones I care about most. Because digging a well for groundwater is nice. And then proximity to salt water for salt, making salt would also be really nice. While I'm here, the ProPick has 2 different modes. If you hit F, so now that we're staring at some stone, we can do this. I'm going to be using the density search. And the density search works this way, where you start one, and then you have to pick a new spot, like more than, 3 units away from the original. And then a new spot, like more, I think it's more than 3, less than 16. And there we go. Decent hematite, high pentolite, which is like, what, nickel? Yeah. Copper, magnetite, cassiterite, poor fresh water. And if I go northeast and below, there'd be more aquifer strength. But it gives you a concept of like what's here. So if I wanted nickel, searching underground doesn't guarantee me nickel. So the way to read these, if you're wondering, is that is about 5 milli. So 5 in 1,000 chunks beneath have a chance to be nickel. That's essentially what that means. So sometimes you get like super high readings, like 30 in 1,000 or something like that, where it's like basically there's probably a node underneath you close by, unless you're super unlucky. But that's essentially how you would want to find iron and whatnot. Okay, very clearly there are bees here. So if I ever want to be a beekeeper, I'll mark them down. We have trees around us. That's always a good thing. These are cypress trees, so they're not resin-producing trees, but still. And we're still moseying on over to spot 3. And I'm just hoping that you guys will remember the spots that I'm marking out, so that you can vote on them having been informed. Because I wouldn't want to move anywhere having never seen it. Getting bad juju from this area, like I'm gonna get jumped by something. So you can consider factors like accessibility, proximity to resources, aquifer rain quantity, because somewhere where it rains very commonly is going to be more fertile, have better soils, and then also if I'm farming out in the open, with not perfect irrigation, high rain is a bit of a benefit. So this is obviously more jungle. We've got jungle vines and ferns. It's overgrown. It's fairly flat where I'm standing here. And if we want to get a good reading for aquifer stuff, plus it has a pond. That was another thing I wanted, is a freshwater source. Do a little digging. Get down to the stone. Oh, I found quartz. Which is actually slightly a problem because I won't be able to, I won't be able to pro-pick the quartz stone because my pick... Oh no, I take that back. I have a bronze pro-pick. Okay, let's do a density search. Is that going to be far enough? Yes. Alright, light, fresh aquifer detected. Has a little bit of cinnabar and chromite, so basically no ore traces that are decent. The Pro-Pick does not detect things like quartz, so obviously there's quartz here. I found it immediately, but, you know, that wouldn't be detected. So it's a light aquifer. Got it. All right, we'll head over to point 2. Which is over yonder. Spot 2. And let's try to avoid getting mauled to death by something on our way there. So light aquifer is not great. But I could still make do. You know, if we did dug a few wells and drawing up fresh water from multiple wells or something like that. It's not perfect, but it is a pretty spot. Not much I'll say. These jungle tiles are pretty, and I haven't, I mean, maybe they're lurking and I haven't spotted them, but I haven't seen a lot of predators around here either. With that said, it's definitely easier to avoid predators in the open plains. It's one of the reasons why I took to the open plains initially, my starter base, so that I wouldn't get, like, jumped behind. Well, speaking of which, hogs. Boars, rather. That are gonna kill me. Yep. Alright, respawn. Boars. Drinking a little water. And let's head over to the death marker. That's why you would want to push for, like, tier 2 armor. If you're wondering what difference it would make, I got 2 shot by the boars with tier 0 armor. With tier 2 armor, like, they would kill me in, like, 20 hits or something. Like, I'm making up a number. Really, obviously, there's a lot of determining factors like nutrition and well, whether I block with a shield and, you know, so there's more than just, like, how many hits you can take. But at the end of the day, it would make me a lot tankier. That much I can say. So it's not maybe the next project I'm going to undertake, because there might be more important ones. Just figured it was worth mentioning. That's what boars are like. Both of those are poisonous. I'm like trying to mark them in the game's like, nah, I'm not marking them for you. These oaks have a lot of, I mean, a lot of these mushrooms are like poisonous, but they sure have a lot of mushrooms around them. Oh, pandas. I'm surprised I really haven't spotted bamboo. And here is the tip of the redwood forest above me. So, like, lots of big trees. You know, we've got big oaks and big redwoods. So I don't think, as long as I have like a metal axe, I don't think firewood is going to be an issue. Because, like, our redwood tree is like a one-stop shop. You cut one down and you're set for firewood and charcoal for like a year. I was sort of hoping to happen upon termites on my way over so I could eat. I know I have those soup bowls. Maybe I'll just rely on the soup bowls. Alright, jerks. Seriously? Go away. You know, your buddy turned back. Your buddy's smarter than you. Alright. Everything here? Yep, more or less. Just fill up that nutrition. Like how the game was like, I messed around with a boar. Phrasing! Sorry, the only partner I need is a curvy piece of driftwood. Orange. Heading over to the orange. It also wouldn't be a bad idea if I see any exposed rock faces. I don't want to necessarily like pro pick digging around because like that takes a while. It's kind of boring. And it's not exactly what I'm working on right now. But if I see any exposed rock that would make for easy pro picking, I'll do that. Fee, thank you for the resub. And Tall Paul too. Yeah, all the mountainsides around here seem to be oh, here we go. Here's some exposed rock. And this is just so that future me can benefit from this pro picking to figure out where I might find iron or other required resources. More nickel, light aquifer, nothing special in this area. I am somewhat close to the coast. It would not be unreasonable. I mean, it would be a little weird to be pinned in by mountains on all sides. But this little valley has its allure. So I'm going to mark this down as spot 4. We know that it does not have... Oh, let's make this a star. We know that it doesn't have good groundwater, but maybe some section within here has good groundwater. What did it say here? Southeast and below. So we're a little southeast of the last point. So I'll pro pick here. Oh, ilmenite. Interesting. Titanium. Not that there is titanium down there. It's a tiny chance for it. Oh, also, let's delete that rip marker. That's going to be confusing, as there's nothing actually there anymore. Alright, still heading over to orange. Taking the super scenic route. And I know I'm, nightfall is approaching. It's 5 p.m. in game. Thank you, Black Currants. Where am I exactly? These lakes aren't terrible either. They're also coastal lakes. So I'm going to head over to the exposed rock over yonder and potentially add this as another spot. We're close enough to these lakes that the pro-pick reading for aquifers here should be roughly true for the lake itself. Doesn't even have an aquifer. Really? Just no reading? Yeah, no reading. Okay, well, that, I mean, I suppose I could always explore it more. We could consider it. It's not to say it's hopeful, considering no groundwater chance, but you never know. It looks lush over here. I'm actually surprised I haven't found any high fertility soil yet, considering the how lush everything seems to be. Bygar, thank you for the resub. Also, I haven't spotted a single unit of copper. Granted, I haven't really been looking for it, but still. If I was, I'd be disappointed. I know what that feels like from last stream. Alright, we got chickens. This is still a granite strata. This is fairly treeless, so I'd have to travel, I'd have to like cut down the redwoods over there. So like firewood would be a little bit more annoying to gather here, I suppose. Also, I've forgotten to check the rain amount, but everywhere I've been so far, I would assume has like common or very common rain because the soil fertility reflects that. So medium fertility soil usually means that you've got like a lot of rain. And I'll try to go to all 5 spots before sundown. It just might be harder to tell what's going on once the sun goes down, but we should still get some semblance of an idea. Alright, light fresh water again. Almost no ores. Last but not least, headed up to spot 1. So I think the chance of getting ganked by predators is rather low in these zones. These plains are pretty open and easy to see things approach. Just doing a visual check for ores. Let's do a pro picking. Because I still haven't found any good hematite reads. So now that I'm in the Bronze Age, I don't necessarily feel the need to immediately go to Iron Age. But it would be good to know... It would be good to like try to find high iron chances. And I really haven't had any good ones yet. We've had very low hematite, magnetite, and limonite readings. Well, no limonite readings, right? But so the iron rocks in this game are magnetite, hematite, and limonite. So, if we're trying to find iron, we're looking for those 3 types. Look like a dirt gangplank. That's fun. Walk the plank. I'm gonna get another reading around here. We can potentially put this as spot 6. Because we're right near the ocean. There's big lakes here. Seems to be a lot of wild chickens. Decent native copper, 10 milli. So there's probably underground copper around here. But the groundwater sucks. That is the highest milli reading for any metal that we found so far. Granted, 10 milli is not super high for copper. If you're wondering, like, I've seen 30, 40 milli, which is like damn near guaranteed copper find when you go underground. Yes, I only need so much copper. It depends. It depends on what I want to... I mean, I'm not... This is a role-playing series, so it's not... I'm not necessarily trying to, like, min-max my way to steel. So, if we want to make a significant amount of... Ah, crap. If we want to make a significant amount of, like, let's say... wooden storage boxes, like, getting a whole bunch of copper for the parts for them might make sense. So there could be uses for copper outside of just, like, you know, not for role-playing purposes. Plus, if we want to make a still to distill juices into alcohol, like, that's copper. If we want to do chute systems, that's copper. Like, there's a lot of uses for copper. Besides just, like, basic tool making. I do not want to be in a forest at night. Alright, I'm gonna brave it. How far am I away from spawn? It's, like, walkable, it just sucks. I'm gonna deal with the... let's get a reading here. I'm gonna deal with the added food needs and keep my torch off hand so that I have a free main hand. So if I get jumped, I don't have to just panic. Moderate saltwater aquifer. Well, that's worthless. Lots of native copper. 22 milli. But yeah, a saltwater aquifer is not useful to us. We're next to the ocean, so I don't need to be bucketing up salt water out of my well. Be funny if it was like magma aquifer. It's like, what? So this is roughly spot 1. Where it's, it almost looks like salt dunes. It's not, but it kind of appears that way. I did just get a marker over there, but let's try to get a more localized reading for these lakes. Because that'd be... Oh. Well. I'd be settling around here. I guess I'll create a little path down here. Get my reading from the cave. Be warned, sand and gravel falls, and if you don't dig out the sand, and you dig out the dirt and the sand falls, it can, like, knock you in the head and send you to your doom. Just figured I'd mention that. How deep is this hole anyway? Oh god. Okay, yeah. When I said doom, it was not an exaggeration. That thing doesn't seem to have an end. It's just like a vertical shaft of death. Alright, a little bit of hematite, light aquifer, nothing special. Let me just drop some sand. I'm actually sort of curious how deep it goes. Whee! No, it's not that bad. I can see the bottom, but it would not be a pleasant fall. But guess what? I just cover it up. Can't fall if there's no hole, right? All right, so those are the 6 spots. To review, we have... Oh, that's awkward. Spot 1 was jungly with a light freshwater aquifer and trees nearby. Or spot 3, sorry. Let me do them in order. So red. Spot 1 is where I'm standing now. These sort of like sandy flats. And here we have got native copper nearby. We've got some light... all my aquifers, none of them are moderate. If we decide on the spot, what I can try to do is find like a specific area of this spot which has higher density water if it is a real issue. So that's something that we can consider. But this is spot 1. So that's easiest to remember because it's recent. It's muddy gravel. It's in a granite strata, etc. All right, spot 2 was over here in these ponds. We have light aquifers, ilmenite, hematite, bismuthine, and cinnabar. And it's doesn't have a lot of trees around it, but it is sweeping, flat, low, with chickens. And spot 3 was the jungly one that was right on top of the quartz node. Spot 4 was the lake in the ravine. It was like surrounded by mountains on both sides. Spot 5 was the pond just west of that. Spot 5 had no groundwater, so that might be a little problematic. And then spot 6 was the one we had just left with, again, no groundwater. So I'm not going to include spots 5 and 6 on the polls because 0 groundwater readings would be a problem. Because I don't want to have to forever boil my water. That's kind of bad. Where should I settle? And I'll try to summarize the spots a little bit so that you can make more informed decisions. So spot 1 is the sandy banks. And what makes this unique? It's flat and surrounded by trees, I suppose. All right, spot 2 is here. It's very, very open, but I would worry about how little there is around it in terms of like, let me go in nerd polling just in case something gets hungry and wants to eat me. I would call that like prairie. It's like open prairie. Would you say that is I think that's probably a fair assessment. Or meadow, open meadow. All right, spot 3 is dense jungle on quartz. And spot 4 is the valley. The valley surrounded by mountain. Or somewhere else. Because of course, that's always an option. I don't have a strong opinion of all of... Oh, that's not where it should be. There we go, poll. I don't have a strong opinion of any of these. What I'm going to do, regardless, is work my way back to base to make some initial tools. And if you want me to scout more spots, that's fine. So let me unpin these so that they're not polluting my my map. Another follow-up poll could be something like, what is the most important factor for you guys? Where you guys can sort of choose the factors of whether it's like groundwater availability, proximity to ocean, whether it's on a pond or not. Because all of these factors are worth considering when trying to find a spot. That way, as your realtor, I suppose that's the role I'm playing at the moment, I can try to drive us towards something that can satisfy the majority. Because it does look like something else is going to win, so I'll type up all the potential factors next. Whoa. One thing I must say, it has been really nice that I haven't had any, like, massive vertical mountains to traverse. Like, the map is mostly open. It's walkable, which is, really nice. Because I've definitely played some Vintage Story runs where, like, the world is just not designed for foot traffic. Surprised I haven't gotten ganked. Sure, I jinxed it, but... I suppose there was one other factor that I hadn't considered, which is don't move. So let's get a prospecting in our own backyard. Because I actually don't know what the groundwater is for where we live. I don't actually like my current spot. High cassiterite at 0.1 milli. Well, we know that there is like 10 underground. Okay, home sweet home. So here is the tin bronze anvil. You have to break it in order to receive it. I'll set that up there. We got 2 ingots that I'll put into the forge. We got the pick mold. And the hammer mold. Meaning that my copper tools can be... Oh, whoop, that's not how to make a hammer. My copper tools can be the backups. So if we ever, you know, accidentally break all of our bronze tools, we aren't screwed. That was on purpose. And then, my current priority right now is make a saw and chisel. Do I want a chisel? God. What else would be good? Let me think about this. Bronze. Ingot. So, a saw blade, I think, is a kind of a must, in my opinion. If that's really important. I could do a spearhead or like a falx head. Shears wouldn't be bad either if we're looking for sticks and seeds. I have a mold for an axe, so I don't really need to do the axe out of an ingot. Yeah, I think I'm going to do a falx for self-protection. So that way I have a better melee weapon than my flint spear. Flint spears do a lot of damage when you throw them. Oh, God, I don't want to sleep. But they are pretty crap when you poke with them. Oh, great. All the fish just rotted. Okay. Thank you for tuning in to Vintage Story Primitive Survival, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below, but I'm not looking for any backseating. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rodamont.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rodamont.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Seraphs.